Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Sarah Upsidedown here. If you haven't been here before, I do content on autism, ADHD, mental health, um, and just a whole pile of other things that kind of connect with that, as well as MBTI, how you can kind of use that as a tool, um, and to help you get through things in your life or find some of the things more about your personality and identity and how you function as an autistic individual. Um, that was a lot of things. Sometimes I don't know whether to say this is a show or or a channel. I mean, it's a show on a channel. I feel like sometimes it's more of like a comedic show to watch and not just your typical like informational um, autism channel or whatever. My voice has been super raspy lately, so sorry if it sounds like that. I am not sick, it's just stuck this way. Um, so today I wanted to talk a little bit about autistic fashion and I would say autistic fashion sense, the autistic fashionistas out there, um, more just people. Oh, hold on. There's a light flickering in the fan. Okay. Sorry if that was hurting your eyes because it was hurting mine pretty bad, and I think like it was going to give me sensory overload real quick. But anywho, so I was talking to a friend yesterday who I'm pretty close with, and we're discussing stuff like fashion a little bit. And I show up and I'm wearing like this hat, some weird striped pants, and I look like Ace Ventura because I didn't even realize I was wearing like a fossil shirt that had like animals all over it. Um, Hi, thank you. Hope you're doing well too. Um, and if the people who watch this later are wondering, like, I'm not talking to myself, it's a live and there's people on the chat. I always feel the need to say that because sometimes when I get busy around the house, I'm like telling myself to do things because I lose focus so much. It's a problem. But anywho, so I was talking to this friend about fashion and like how I've just always done this really weird off the wall stuff. I mean, it was kind of in every area, but I never really saw that it was that different, I guess, until, the traumatic things that happen whenever you are different and you do like to express yourself in those ways. And so I kind of made a blog about that, which I'll read a little bit of here in a minute. Um, but yeah, that's kind of what I want to talk about today. I don't know why I feel the need to say like for like 3 minutes what I'm going to talk about, but maybe it prepares people for like if they want to stay or not. I don't know. So I finally got my Naruto shirt for the ramen shop on the show. Yes, I got this in the boys section at Target for $8.98. um, Way cheaper than all the ones that I have on my Amazon list that are like $20 for a t-shirt. I usually go to Five Below if I want to get t-shirts for $5. Okay. Like if I'm going to buy something nice and a little bit more pricey, it's going to be shoes. Not that these are like, ooh. But I don't know where I was going with that. So, um, first thing I want to talk about a little bit is kind of how I started to get um, my own style, my own whatever. I don't even have a style. Like I dress different every day. Like there's not really a one style, but was the path that I kind of took, and this was before I actually found out completely about being autistic and like going through that journey and just it's been a long 5 to 7 years. They've really kicked my butt and a lot of not fun things either in that. But I went on this minimalist journey because we were moving a lot at the time. We couldn't really get a good solid home. Like something would be happening in one of the ones we lived in, or it would be in an area that was affecting what I didn't know then, which was my MCAS. I would start to have eczema things, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go into all that. And then we moved again, and one of the homes we moved into was no longer, it had some hidden things, and it looked, pretty much fine all on the outside. So, blah, blah, blah. But it really sucked. And I was just tired of lugging this stuff from here to here and like all these clothes and whatever. And, just all the kids' stuff that they didn't even play with. And like, it was ridiculous. And so I was like, I'm going to have minimalism as my special interest. And so I just went into like going into every room, and like my husband would collect like chargers and like wires and like things and computers. But I don't know. It was just like he was trying to have a computer shop, and I'm the Aspie. Okay. And like he would just, it was just all over. It was like a not fun collection for me to have, because I like to be able to kind of do stuff with the things that I have. And we already don't have like a whole lot of space in our home. So did all that. And in the process, got rid of like literally almost all my clothes, almost all my shoes. I didn't even know what my own style was. Like, I had no idea who Sarah was anymore. And like, I vaguely remember doing the Jim Carrey video on here on YouTube, but someone asked him who Jim Carrey was, and he's like, I don't know, who is Jim Carrey? Because like he fell in line with all the roles that he had to play, and I was put in so many roles throughout my life that I didn't know. I mean, I knew deep down like who I was, what I liked, and things like that, but I had placed these things so much over myself that it weighed who I was down. And so by doing like the Marie Curanota, whatever, on Netflix, and just saying bye-bye and hugging my stuff and then getting rid of it all, I was able to restart, have my own wardrobe. And when I started buying stuff, it was nothing like the clothes that I had before, which, I mean, I always had weird fashion. I always did really eccentric, designs, fashion stuff since I was a kid, like mohawks down the head, like just with hair bands. And my mom, like, I don't know how she dealt with me, because like I was just straight up weird, like a weird kid, a really cool weird kid. So I'm gonna look at some of these questions over here for a second. Have you had a fashion disaster that's funny now? I don't know. It's funny every day whether it looks good or not, because I'm still in the clothes. Yeah. Let's see. My mom thinks I dress so weird, and she always has to mention that I look interesting. Yeah, interesting is I mean, I like to use the word interesting and fascinating, but those words are also very interesting and fascinating to me. So, but I would definitely tell someone the truth if I thought like something was off, especially when it comes to hair or fashion. Like, do not come to me if you want me to lie. Like, I'm not really good at lying. I'm going to laugh if I have to lie. And I know that there's this whole thing about how autistics don't lie. I don't think that that's not true, but it's really hard for me to, especially if I don't have any good reason, like, or logic behind why I need to absolutely have to lie to you about how you need to have, like, if you ask me about your outfit or your hair, like, but if you want someone honest that actually knows about fashion, then I will be that person, and I will tell you that it sucks if it needs to be said. But I mean, in a nice way. I'm not going to be a jerk like that. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of those things, like, I mean, my fashion stayed the same, I would say, like throughout elementary and junior high and stuff. And I'm about to just go into the blog because I keep mentioning stuff in it, and it kind of like just puts it together a little smoothly than how I talk, which is everywhere, all over the place. I have extroverted intuition, not introverted intuition. So, you know, and there's a reason why Naruto is one of my favorite characters. He's nuts, but he also is a really great advocate. So that's probably Amazon packages. Guys, I just wrapped all my kids' stuff today. I I I like hauled it into a vehicle. I covered it up. Like I've done the laundry. I'm like a very productive autistic today. I'm probably going to feel dead tomorrow because, and I'm going to regret doing all that. But I actually felt good health wise for the most part and a little bit stronger today. And that's why I've been kind of just putting together these videos on here that are more just something that's short and fun to watch because I've been struggling a lot with burnout and executive functioning and da 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 da. And I need a drink of this. But yeah, and so I've just tried to like still put something out there that's kind of showing like what I'm doing in my journey. And I was doing a series, which this kind of goes with, which is autistic gifts and skills. And you know, fashion and some of the other people that I've read their books, like Jennifer O'Toole and these other people, like just really have an eye for detail. But that doesn't mean it has to just be with like math or science or whatever. And to me, it's like a puzzle piece, you know, like piecing each little tiny thing. If you saw how my daughter, you know, who's also autistic, as a 4-year-old, like as a 4-year-old is literally going to like every single detail like it is a puzzle piece so that she can create her bigger picture. And you know, it's like connecting the dots and in her way, because that is a huge interest for her. That is how she's putting it together. And it's coming from inside of her brain. Like what she sees from pieces out in the world, she is taking in, she is organizing it. I could really go into MBTI so much right now with that. But then she is making something, you know, creating something. Um, and that to me is just the same as if you were you know, doing a collage. If you're doing graphic design, you know, you're taking all these things or you're coming up with this idea and then you're trying to piece these things together. Like it's all in some form or fashion a design, you know. And it doesn't always have to be this like girly tutu whatever. Like a lot of the stuff that I wore was like a mixture of just weirdo. I don't know. But it was like, you know, punk or, you know, had a little dark side and then you got some colors. And then the next day I'm wearing comic book stuff. I mean, I've done this like forever. And I don't know, like if any of you other autistics out there, like have sort of had this just like different sort of fashion sense or whatever. And whether you had to change that or not, like how you kind of went through that. But if you have, or you want to share, you know, anything about that, put that down in the comments. And please, guys, share and like so that other people can get on here. You know, we can have a chat group or something, or if someone wants to be able to, you know, combine their stuff so that we can, you know, get more neurodiverse people together that may not have a group out there or may not have someone to talk to, you know, about some of these things. I know that that's how I was able to find help, by just like watching other people's videos and trying to connect when I was figuring all this out. And it sucks to go through alone. So, you know, I know I can't support everybody in the world, but I hope that me and my little friends here, just kidding, can be of help to, you know, kids, teens, and adults, because I'm kind of all of those ages. I mean, you know, this came from a boy section at Walmart. I will re-say that. But then I can be completely adult, and I'm an autistic parent, and I've read a lot. Right now I'm actually reading Ask for Kids, which is by Jennifer O'Toole. And like just at the beginning of the book, there's so much information that like I have looked into so many things, but there's so much in there to help my kids. Anyways, back to the fashion stuff. ADHD. Yeah. So anyway, so my daughter is very similar in the way that she thinks of that stuff. And, um, there's days where I'm dressed like Sherlock Holmes, where I can wear, very, British style clothing. There's days when I'm just comfortable around the house and I've got my sweats. But like when I did the minimalist thing, I'm like, let me rewind all the way back over there. This is why I don't do lives. I'm like all over the place. But when I did the minimalist thing, I ended up getting like mostly t-shirts, mostly like pants with pockets. And I'm talking about like cargo style ones. Like these, they have big pockets. They actually work and they're for women to be able to wear or whatever your gender. But they're like super comfy and they have pockets in them. So whenever I started getting all of the clothes that I would actually want to wear that didn't cause me sensory issues, didn't make me itchy, like I cannot believe how much stuff that I wore because it maybe looked cool or was in or whatever, and I got used to being that way, but like was completely uncomfortable for me. Like wasn't fun at all to wear. Itched the crap out of me. I can't stand tags. I never have been able to. There is stuff that some of us autistics mask that you could not even imagine, like the annoyance that like I can't even barely stand wearing jeans. Like I don't really even wear jeans much anymore. Like every so often I'll wear my overalls or something. But like the second that I'm in like regular clothes that are super like itchy and tight and uncomfortable, like I just want to be able to get home so I can like put my comfy clothes on or my pajamas. um, and like I just was used to doing that my whole life. And so going through the minimalism and getting rid of everything to then get my own dressing, whatever, clothes, colors, stuff, and it's changed here and there, whatever, but like it helped because a lot of people don't maybe understand, or if they've never really had to go through this, like how much what you wear like becomes who you are. Just need a lot of those. um yes, I do get hypersensitive areas that almost hurt, and um I also have fibromyalgia, and so that doesn't really help when it comes to the sensory issues or the tags, or like there could be like a sewing area on the back of the pants, and I'll just straight up give those away because it's so uncomfortable. Like I want to be able to have my cool own unique fashion, but I also want to be comfortable in my own skin, in my body, and in my clothes. Um, like I just struggle with a lot of sensory issues. I am way more a sensory averter, unless it comes to like music and punk rock, and that was music. I don't know. There's certain things that, and I love all the lights and the lava lamps and whatever. But back to clothes. So now I actually don't care what people think about what I'm wearing because I'm comfortable with me. I'm comfortable with my style, my clothes. Like I love hats. Let me show y'all real quick about hats. So my friend actually finally made me a hat rack, and so like I collect hats. That's not all of them. Some of them I have in drawers, and I have like multiple that I keep in my car because I guess Mad Hatter vibes, and like I just need to like shade the sun because my light sensitivity. That's why I love these. And then they made winter ones, and they're nice and soft, so they're good for sensory issues and stuff. Like if you just need something soft. um, but yeah, like I have a bunch of hats. I also collect socks. Like I have all kinds of, I got rid of all the uncomfy things to basically replace it with stuff that's way better for autistics, like myself, that, have a lot of these sensory aversions, or I like having pockets to hold more stuff in. And like everything that I wear is still some sort of like fashionable or whatever, but like it's also me. It doesn't have to be like whoever else. And it doesn't have to be I can only dress in one style because then people might freak out if I'm wearing different things. Like I don't know, that just never crossed my mind before. I just wear whatever I want, and it happens to be 50 different type of styles. I just don't care. Uh, but anywho, so yeah, that's kind of like how I've gone through the process of sort of finding my own fashion. I don't wear stuff like this like every day with Naruto t-shirts, and sometimes I can dress completely, different, and you know, that's just how I've always been. I think I've said that like 5 times. Because it's crazy. Like I never really understood this stuff necessarily about myself, but I understood that I was bullied for it at younger ages, and so I just kind of had to do what I had to do to not go through that anymore. Um, so I'm going to read this here uh, thing that I wrote after I look at some of these comments. Someone says, my 4 kids dress similar to you. I feel less free to mix up my clothes because of my age. Man, you just like let your colors fly. I mean, who's really more worried? Because to me, I thought like other people would judge me more if I started wearing what I really wanted or all the stuff that has to relate to my special interests. But I think it was me that cared more than what others did. And if they did, and if they do, then and just like I mean, I do believe that adults still get bullied. Trust me, I'm like 100% in agreement with that. But like, if you like what you're wearing or what you decided to dress like for your age, then that's fine. But like, I'm never going to dress my age. Okay. Like, consistently, if I go out to certain events or whatever where I need to wear a suit or I need to get a fancy dress, in my autistic brain, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I get to play dress up. I get to go get my pearls on. I get to go get a fancy dress at the store. I get to leave the house. That's a big deal for moms. Yeah, yeah. And I don't have to you know, be me for a day. I mean, I get to still be myself, but like I think of it more as like some sort of like, ooh, it's a fantasy night out. If I'm doing something that big and fancy. Um, and I'm dressed not completely different from everybody in those times, like, but I'm still happy with how I get to do that. Um, yeah, I can definitely understand anything about under anything, undergarments, underwear, under whatever. Anyway, when it comes to sensory issues and changing your wardrobe and having the things that are comfortable to you, I won't go too TMI, but like do what helps your skin and your body and your self-esteem. And like my self-esteem has been horrible most of my life. Like I have not had that great self-esteem. People would compliment my outfits back in the day, though they were uncomfortable. I still dressed kind of like different and unique my whole life. Like people would like some of this like cool suit type things I would wear to work, like when I used to have jobs 7.5, 8 years ago. And like I would get compliments all the time, but I just wouldn't think much of it. I would just be like, yeah, because I do like this. But I was just dressing myself, and I just was expressing myself, I guess. Um, so I don't know. But now I think just being able to like take off the masks that I had and show my like full autistic self, like whoever comes around and like seeing the different stuff that I wear and things like that, like if they don't accept me for how I like to change it up and how I love to express my special interests, like um and I just, whenever I'm into something, I'm into it all over the place. Like my son is so into like this Huggy Wuggy character that creeps me out that he is drawing him all over the place, including my car that he got drawn on, you know. But I understand like where his brain is at when he's doing that, because that's how into our stuff that we're into. And so like I'm gonna dress like Sherlock Holmes because it's a character for me. Like I'm just a walking story book, and like whatever story or comic book you want to open to, boom, and I'm like the magic tree house, and I'm just gonna pop out. um I have no idea where I came up with saying that. But I do need to go pick up my son in about 10 minutes. So I'm going to wrap this up shortly, reading the rest of some of y'all's comments. I say it straight and expect to be told straight when I ask. Yeah. I mean, I'm never gonna like I'm very empathetic. I know this whole like thing about autistics not being or whatever, but I've always been like really caring for others. Okay, I was maybe way more blunt growing up because I didn't really see it necessarily then. But it's just like it's like someone having a black speck on your teeth, and like I've got to be the one to say it because I know that nobody is. That's what people. Anyway, there they are. But nobody's going to tell somebody like about that type of thing, or they got like a hair hanging out of their nose or a boogie, and or whatever, that they're going to go look in the mirror later and they're going to be like, why didn't anybody tell me? Especially some of my friends. Like I'm walking around with this black speck or a booger hanging out, or, oh man. Poor little guy. He just keeps falling off. Maybe Nezuko is getting mad at him. But like, I want to be able to be that person that's like just going to be honest with them. And to me, like, especially as an NTP type and an autistic, like the truth is more important than hiding it or a lie, which I feel like hiding it sometimes and things is sort of a lie. I don't know. I've really tried to figure out the logic behind that. But I want to be able to help somebody out with that. So, oh yeah, I've totally bought pants in the boys section. Like I can't shop in the men's section most likely. Like they don't have that small. I wear like size just too small in women's. But like if I want some good cargo pants or something, I will go in my son's section and I will pick out those size 8 cargo pants that are Wrangler or whatever they are if I need some good pants to work out in the yard in. Okay, because they're probably going to be made better and they're going to have real pockets, unlike most of the women's pants. Like that's another thing. This looks like a dude could wear this. I'm kind of like a little bit of a dude, but I'm not. But then other days I'm completely feminine. So, and I buy clothes wherever I see that I like them. That doesn't really have to be a sex type of thing. Like that's what I mean about like my autistic brain. Like it doesn't like segregate and separate all of that stuff. I can be very androgynous, but also like, completely done up, hair up, makeup, whatever. A lot of ups. So I will read this blog and then I will get off. I'm glad that I have some viewers today because I never really get a chance to like say, hey, I'm going to be doing a video. And it's just sort of, I actually restarted the time about 4 times. I was going to do it at 12 something. And then I kept having to change it because I kept running behind. So this is why I'm delirious by the time I get to the video. So on my blog here, it's not really a blog, it's just on my Instagram, which if you want to follow me and see all these cool pictures and maybe see some of the different ways that I've done fashion and home design, you can follow me at Sarah Upsidedown, and then there's an underscore after that on Instagram. And it kind of goes through showing like the different ways that I've changed in style and, switch that up and how my kids do that. My daughter and her bright, crazy, rainbowy stuff, and my son with all his creepy colors and Tim Burton-y style stuff. That's all going to be on my Instagram, Sarah Upsidedown _. Yay. I'm really trying to do this whole practicing on getting myself out there thing, but I don't know. Like, I just am not, it's not really a thing that I do. Working on it. But yeah, I put autistic culture and ask me fashion. I dress different about every day, and sometimes it's more feminine and sometimes more masculine or tomboy. This is how I've always been and can go from businesswoman in a suit to an outfit like you see right now. When stuff that I also love. This is autistic culture for me. Yes. Oh, the saggy in the front, all the that's funny. She's right though. So let me take a drink real quick. Oh, was going to tell y'all a little bit about this, but I'll do that later. It's this new stuff that I've been trying, and there's apparently mushrooms in it. And I have a self-stirring mug for convenience. So, I love eccentric fashion, and I love not having to stick to one style. For autistics like my daughter and I, we love fashion, but it's not your typical thing, and how we obsess about it is different as well. We piece it all together to make the bigger picture, and we do it all in our head. We make 5 styles, one style, and we love patterns. Everything in this blog is from my personal experience. My experience with fashion, uniqueness, and what makes my Aspie heart melt to mush when it comes to these things. How going through minimalism, which I do have another previous video. If y'all want to go back to that, it kind of will just stick. It's like one of my first videos ever on YouTube, but it was my journey with minimalism and then finding out about, at that time, Asperger's, and getting my diagnosis and all that stuff. But helping me to find my autistic identity while also doing so helped me to find easier ways with executive functioning issues like organizing and things like that. Oopsie. From a young age, I was interested in Japan, Native American, and English fashion. I also had a big interest in the dark and creepy Tim Burton style fashion. I always fixed my hair in these wild, crazy hair bands and mohawk braids. Most of these things that I loved got me picked on, pushed into corners, and bullied. I remember going to the next school and deciding to change all of my clothes when I moved to Graham and junior high. That is when I first started to mask because of the level of bullying I received most all years before for being myself. My eyes suck. I thought I was I thought and was naive to think that once I made friends, they would like how I dressed myself because they would get to know me. So the next year I came dressing in what I love once again and was bullied and put down. My parents knew I was kind of weird or different, and I think my stepdad was ashamed or worried that people in his hometown would judge because of my differences. So that's just like a little piece of my story on like if people met me whenever I didn't really like unmask and want to really share about my autism or really know about it or all those things, and they're wondering, okay, why are you like more autistic now? Or like, why is this coming out now with your whole full-blown ADHD autistic self? And that's why right there on the blog. That's why I struggled with doing stuff like this. Like, I didn't get to wear all this stuff in high school and things. I didn't even know how to be interested in my own stuff anymore because everything that I liked seemed to be not cool enough or good enough, or it's not going to get me anywhere in life. Like, it wasn't going to be something normal, like, for instance, wanting to be a medical examiner when I was in fourth grade. Standing up and saying that didn't get me more friends. I was trying to be like Crossing Jordan, and they were trying to grow up and be teachers and firefighters. Okay, like, I'm not saying that's a bad thing or whatever. I'm just trying to think of like what people consider to stand up and say, like, I'm going to be an astronaut. Actually, I did want to be an astronaut too. But you know what I mean. A lot of the things that I did and the way I was, like, was just going to get me picked on more. And so piece by piece, I had to slowly take all of like the good things about my autism and my ADHD and like my dyslexia and just all the ways that that sort of makes my brain like think, like put that in a ball that's shaking. Okay, like, we're going to go into Harry Potter world for a second. I have one of the, what you call it, the Quidditch balls, and that thing is like shaking around and it's trying to go nuts. And then I put it in this case, and then I gotta shut it, and then I gotta put the lock thing on it, and I'm just shutting it in there, and now the box is just shaking and it's all going nuts. And so whenever I like started being open and honest about myself and my autism and things like that, like, whenever I just slowly started peeking in that box with the ball shaking and shutting it back and peeking in and shutting it back, like, I was like, why am I keeping that Quidditch ball in the wooden box anymore? The Quidditch ball is ready to play. The Quidditch ball being my autistic self in my autistic fashion. So I opened up that Quidditch box and let my Quidditch ball just fly in the air, and Harry and Ron are about to go play Quidditch. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? And yeah. And so now it's all free and it's all out. And like, there's just no putting it back at this point. Like, what's the point in doing that? I get to be free. I get to express myself and my fashion. I don't even like, what? Someone's going to look at me weird? Like, I really just don't know what I was worried about before, because other than, the continuous bullying all throughout my life. Yeah. I mean, but now, like, I think I've grown so much in myself and understanding me and like how I think and do things and whatever, that like I'm more secure in myself and with myself to express however that needs to go. So yes, I need to go get my son from school. But I appreciate you guys coming to my channel today and just sharing some of the stuff about your kids and yourselves. And, about, yeah, overalls and pants being saggy in the front. I mean, it's a great conversation. Yes, my skin is very sensitive. I actually have like a really bad irritation on my arm right now because like I just have a lot of allergies. But I do have multi-cell activation syndrome, and it really affects me with like anything irritation wise. And I really like to have my sweaters super soft. If I'm going to wear a sweater and that thing is itchy, I will take it outside and just throw it in the trash, or it will die. Because like I will not. It's not even worth giving to a friend because I would want their sweater to be soft, because I am a caring person. So I try to be, well, I do think that sometimes it could be difficult on my kids. My son's actually already going through a lot of bullying and struggling because he's super social, but he just doesn't understand the social cues and stuff. Like, they just put different autistics into a box. I mean, he's a lot like I was. Like, he's trying to socialize. It's just really like, and like he doesn't understand why people aren't really getting it. But then when it comes to like clothes and things or whatever later, like, I'm just going to do the best I can to support them and what they like and to build them up and motivate them to stay who they are or whatever. Like, in the best way that I can as a parent. I don't know. I feel like really like man mom, like a man mom sometimes, a dude mom. Um, and I don't, it's not like suck it up or whatever. It's just like, just, I don't, I try to help them come up with like more, uh, good reasons or, maybe logical reasons why like they shouldn't really care too much about how those other kids are being or what they're saying. And when it comes to their clothes or their hair or whatever, like sometimes they just may be jealous. Maybe their parents aren't letting them like even try to buy something that makes them look kind of even somewhat weird at all or different or whatever. And they are not even able to get to express themselves. I mean, when it comes to the other kids, like I see now that like those kids may have been so controlled, like they were just annoyed that maybe they actually did like what you were wearing or whatever. There's just no telling. But what is what? I got lost. And but yes, enjoy y'all's your weekend, and just dress how you want, be who you are, autistic or not, just do your own thing. Do your own thing. That's what I'm doing, and I'm honestly having a really good time with it. I mean, life really stinks sometimes. It's just a bummer on so many levels. Like I honestly can't even comprehend how much it can suck. But yes, the multi-cell thing. It's MCAS. I actually have a free uh, ebook or whatever that I could email you if you could send your email somehow. But it has a lot of information on MCAS, POTS, and EDS and things like that that are all connected and a lot of the times related with the autism community. So, but it's MCAS. You can look it up on Google. There's a lot of good information that comes from the EDS Society and a couple other websites. But we did make a book to put together so that other people could get the help that they need a little easier and not have to go through all the struggles of looking all that stuff up. Us autistics are empathetic and we do try to provide information. I just am like a computer downloading everything that goes on in here. I'm just sort of pushing the enter button and it is just info dumping out. But yeah. So I hope y'all have a good weekend and y'all get to do some fun Christmas stuff or whatever. I think that tonight we are going to go walk around our square with some candles and stuff. I'm trying to get the kids out more this year. I'm tired of like not going out and doing some of these activities. I'm going to have my headphones or whatever other tools I need, and like my cane or whatever I need so that I can do this stuff and have a good time with my kids. Because like sometimes things are disability, but they're not it's not just a disability, and you still gotta try to have a good time in life. So we'll see y'all later. Y'all have a good weekend. Goodbye.